Happy Mother's Day and welcome to the Bunnies TV footy show. We're live and free, and it's a bit gloomy here in Sydney this morning. It hasn't been a good week weather-wise, and it wasn't a good week. Wasn't a good day weather-wise out at Cogra yesterday. Me and Milo went out there and had a look, and we only got one win and two losses. We're going to have a look at that in a minute. But yeah, this is the Bunnies TV interactive show, so please comment, and the best comments will be featured on the screen. And I'll just bring a couple up already. We've already got a couple in there. And there's Karina Hazer, our favourite German ambassador all the way from Germany. Hello to you. And we had Jacoby Maroney in early and said hi. So hello, mate. And we've also got Camden Nog saying yo. So yo to you, mate. We'll get into the footy. Like I said, it was raining and it was miserable, but me and Milo went out there early about lunchtime to watch the three grades, the New South Wales Cup and the Jersey Flegg. We're going to cover those later in the show. We had tickets in the grandstand, so we thought, we're laughing here. We'll be in a nice cozy spot. We get to our seats and they're down the second front row in the rain. So we didn't sit there. I'll show you where we did sit. We ended up getting pretty good seats. Down in the front. I just got to add that in, actually. Just bear with me for a sec. But a couple of times people come to sit in the seat. So this is where we end up sitting. There it is there. And there's the boys running out. But there was only a crowd of about 5,500 there. So the stand wasn't full. And so we just sort of sat where we could. And in the end, we sat behind a couple of Jersey Flegg stars. Toby Sullivan, Matt Humphries, Louis Grosmy, and Brent Hawkins. And yeah, they had a good day anyway. I'm going to show you the video of the finish of their game a little bit later. And also here's another man that he was there all day too, Michael Tasker. And he's seen me and Milo in the stand. And I saw Mick over on the hill early, and he had his chair and he had his red and green poncho over him, but there was, at least he was covered up. There was a couple of guys standing with him that didn't have umbrellas, and they would have just been drenched. So shout out to the borough, all our friends in the borough, Josh Kemp and Bridget and others. But yeah, it wasn't a good day. And yeah, so I was on telly. There he is, Rabbitoh 757. Me and Milo sitting in the stand. And there wasn't much to smile about because we were down and we were never really in the game. So we'll have a chat about the game now. The Dragons had a 4-3 win, 28-14. South hung in there and they were in the game 14-10 into the second half. But then when Jaden Stewart scored in the 60th minute, it sort of put paid to our chances, and it was quite a frustrating game to watch. The boys aren't playing well. They'll admit it, and a few of the stats will tell the tale. The Dragons had 55% possession, so no wonder our boys were busted. Only having 45% of the ball, that means they've got to do a lot of defending against a side that were playing well. The Dragons completed at 82% compared to our 66% completion rate. So if you're not completing your sets and you haven't got the ball, you're not going to win. And we didn't. Our kicking game was poor. The Dragons kicked for 639 metres. We kicked for 388, and nearly half as much. So I thought Ben Hunt was good for them. Zach Lomax kicking that 2-point field goal before half time. That was deflating. We made 15 errors to their 9. So all of these things equate to not winning footy games when you need to get those things right. And I know that's what Ben Hornby said when I interviewed him. And thanks for that, Coach Hornby, letting me have a one-on-one interview with you after the captain's run the other day. And he was honest. He said, I just want to be honest with the boys, and we've just got to get those things right. And we didn't get them right, unfortunately. There was a great try to Isaac Tuatupa Thompson in the corner. Big dive and try. It was a good ball from Trell. Latrell Mitt, cut out pass, put it right out there in front of him. Cody probably got robbed of a try in his 200th game, and it was disappointing for him. With the Joy Arrow inconclusive evidence debacle, really, from referee Belinda Sharp, who sent it up as a knock on to Cody. So the bunker went back and decided that they couldn't decide if Joy knocked it on, but that's not what it was sent up for. So I can understand if they couldn't tell if he knocked it on. Well, they didn't send it up for that. And this is what Vossi said on the call and on Fox, because I watched the replay when I got home. So Carlix has reiterated my sentiments there. That was BS. Yes, and here's a nice comment. Aussie Prison Stories AU said, "G'day, Bunnies TV." Well, g'day to you, mate. And he's joining us there on YouTube. You can see the YouTube icon, but you can comment on Facebook as well, and those comments will come up, and the best ones I will feature. There's Nicky Bird, dad of Tommy Fletcher, and he said he was robbed. So yeah, unfortunately, it probably didn't matter in the end, but it didn't help because at that time of the game was an important time of the game as always. And shout out to Nicky, he's a champion man. And I did see Tommy out there, I think yesterday, getting around, and there's a few injured players around. Now, look, there's a lot of people saying Latrell needs to go back to the centres, and I don't know if Coach Hornby is one of those people that believes that. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. At the moment, we don't really have another fullback, so I'm not sure. We're not going to get on here and bag Latrell Mitchell, let me tell you that. He did score 2 tries yesterday in his return from suspension. He hasn't played footy for around a month. And he's, like I said, he set up that one for Isaac Tuatupo Thompson. He did look tired at the end, I must admit, but who wasn't? Like I said, we didn't have any ball. There has been some other people that are sort of bagging that I've put up some goal kicking. Keon kicked the goal, and so did Peter Mamazelos. But like I said, when I used to play footy, I used to love kicking goals after training. And this is after training footage. So these boys are free to do whatever they like. And they decide to have a few shots at goal, which I used to love doing as an old footy player. I was an old toe basher back in the day. And they happen to knock them over, and it's good content for the show. Gets exposure for Bunnies TV across a lot of platforms because people like seeing that. And he says here, which is good, Trell is a great player, and he is. He's a great player, but mate, if he ends up in the centres and we get someone playing a fullback, maybe Jai Gray when he gets back, or someone was saying AJ when he comes, I don't know. And they did ask Benny Hornby about this, and he said, we'll have a look at it during the week. Different positions. Some decisions were very questionable. That's right. They were. But having said that, we didn't play well enough to win. And here's a bit of optimism from Aussie. The Bunnies will be back where they belong in the top 8. Well, gee, we're dead last. The terrible differential. We've got to start winning some games soon, and that'll have to be next Saturday night up at Suncorp Stadium in Magic Round against the Cowboys, who are a pretty good side, as you know. And here's Dallas McCann. Hello, mate. And he's on Facebook. And he trusts his immune system. Good on you, mate. You can't blame the referee. Well, that's true. It's a good saying, Dallas. And Dallas, a lot of regulars that know he helps us out, me and Milo, when we do some calling. He's a good man. He loves the Rabbitohs, and he gives us a hand on the show. And he's made another comment about Latrell. Well, look, back to the goal kicking. So a few people were blowing up and sent messages that weren't really nice, and said, look, they should be doing fitness work and all that. And maybe they should be doing extra fitness sessions. And I can agree with that. But like I said, after training, they're allowed to do whatever they want. They could be in their car on the way home to go and watch Netflix or going to the gym or doing whatever. They're out there just having a kick of a ball, which I can't hold against them. And here's a good comment from Dallas. Better than the last one. Not showing the last one. He said, love the boys and will always support them. So do I. And, and here's another good one from Carlex NT. So this is why I love interacting with my viewers and people that are watching and listening over as a podcast or on YouTube or on Facebook, is that we can interact. We can talk about what's on your mind, and like I said, featuring the best comments. And here's one from Carlix that says, take a dozen people out of any top 30 team and they are going to struggle. Well, that's correct. And I think it's more than a dozen at the moment. It's like 16 or something like that. So I do feel sorry for Coach Hornby because he did tell me that he's always wanted to be a coach. But unfortunately, when he gets his start, he's been handed a team that aren't playing well, that are injury ravaged. And he's had to try and do his best to turn it around when it's a steep hill at the moment. It is a very steep hill. And here's more optimism from Karina. Not impossible. It's not impossible. We can still make the 8. It's only round 10. So we've got a lot of footy to go. And yeah, it's just not real good at the moment. Now we'll go to a couple of positive things. And I did speak to Coach Hornby about Gamut Shibasaki, and he became Rabbitoh 1197. Congratulations to you, mate. It wasn't his best work out there, but it wasn't his best work for a lot of people. And Gamut is how it's pronounced from Benny Hornby, and I think they also call him Gam. Another one here, the next Rabbitoh was Dion Tialpa. He became Rabbitoh 1198. And I did feel sorry for Neon Dion. There's the family's there's the family photo that they made. And there he was on the field. So that's Dion. He had a couple of good touches, a couple of good runs, and it just, he didn't really get going. He's a lot better than what we saw out there. It's very hard to come into. Imagine the pressure of being handed the number 7 jersey and asked to steer around the team and kick. And I feel like he could have been a bit more assertive, got the ball a bit more. But the chances he got were limited. But he might get some more footy, Dion, because I don't think there's anyone belting the door down to take his spot. And also, Matty French. Frenchie's a Rabbitoh 1199. So there's only one more to go to make it 1,200 Rabbitohs in total. And I did actually get a bit of Frenchie's run on debut. And I do like Matty French. I met his mum, some family members and friends at the Rabbitoh Centre at the Captain's Run on Friday. And so here he is running on. And there was a big crowd of his supporters up behind the goalposts. And we just panned to them to show them at the end. So yeah, that was the fans up there, and we've got Ned Kelly's jumped on, and he said, "We just need to be better and take it out of the refs' hands." Well, that's a good comment, mate. Yeah, so I think that's what Coach Hornby said in the presser. We've got to be better. We've got to be better next week, and that's all you can say. It's all you can do is try and build on it. But yeah, it's just not. It's not really. We're not being better at the moment, are we? Carlick said something about Cookie did a great job at lock towards the end. Yep. And here's Oscar Zechner said, hello, Mavo. This is Oscar, who is helping out on Bunnies TV, editing some of our videos. He's studying out there at Uni of Western Sydney in his first year. And he's a champion young fella, and he's a Rabbitoh. He loves coming out to the Captain's Run, and he's helping me out, taking some photos and that. So he's a good lad, young Oscar. And his one man in his whiteboard said, you just need Jared Sutton to ref your games the same way he refs the Good Friday clash every week. Yeah, well, Jared Sutton, I think he's a good ref, and he probably is, he's one of the ones that doesn't really, it's hard to say. They do their best, the refs. You can't really hold it against them. And, Belinda Sharp did her best out there, and a couple of things didn't go our way, yes, but like I said, ultimately, we didn't go that good. And Aussie President said, I love watching Thompson play. Man, what a gun. Yeah, so Isaac is a gun. And you can see what he did with that try, diving into the corner. He's an athlete. Fortunately, it didn't happen enough. Hopefully it will. Yeah. So Hornby said in the presser, a lot of effort, but we're still not winning those moments. We've got to be better next week. So I watched the presser just before. And then Cody, he looked forlorn sitting there next to him, and he just said it was a disappointing result. So I did feel sorry for him in his 200th game. Yeah, so and here's another one. Hit that like button and subscribe to this content. Well, I don't know if that's your channel or mine, mate, but yeah, please subscribe to Bunnies TV if you can. Thanks. I'll just take that comment off. Yeah, it always helps to subscribe to the channel. And also you can help me out by following me there on Instagram, bunniestv.au. We will move on to the New South Wales Cup now. And they had a loss. They started the game well. Try to Ryan Gray. Opened the scoring. I thought, oh, we're on air. But then they're a pretty good side, the New South Wales Cup Dragons. They end up scoring 5 tries unanswered for 26-6 win. And here's a good comment that we're going to put up from TSG. Losing to the Dragons is always a lowest point. Yes, it is. They are our traditional rivals. We've both got long, proud histories. You know, we all know the story how they won 11 comps in a row. And I think they're running second to us as far as titles go. Excuse me, even though St. George Illawarra, they sort of not supposed to count that now because it's not St. George anymore. But anyway, we sort of still do. Yeah, and let me just turn the page here. I have got a bit of video of the boys running out. So some of you would have saw the video I put out yesterday of some of the stuff of the boys running on and off. And here's a young fella called Jake Trindle who he had some supporters over the other side of the field, and it wasn't really a good day for Jake. It was like the whole day. A lot of us didn't get going. He did his job, and congrats to Jake for making his debut. And also a shout out to Kalen Miller, who came off with what looked like a serious shoulder injury. Felt sorry for him. So he's the first one that walks up here on this video as Kalen from Bullet Cuts.
Number 4, Benjamin Johnson. Number 5, Sutherland Tamale. Number 6, Jesse Marshy. Number 7, Joseph Glover. Number 8, Alex Judakaki. Number 9, Connor Molaison. Number 10, Ryan Couchman. Number 11, Dylan Egan.
So there's our boys, and that was Tyrone McCarthy, the last bloke up the tunnel there, helping out with the coaching. And yeah, a bit of an unfortunate day for them. This Saturday, the 18th of May, at 5 p.m, our New South Wales Cup team take on the Bears at North Sydney Oval. And that'll be live on New South Wales Rugby League TV. If you want to have a look. We'll move on to the Flegg. And we've got a bit more positivity out of the Flegg because they had a win. That was good. And we'll just start with... It was a close game. And right at the end, a young fella called Dane Towns scored a beautiful try off a kick from Brent Hawkins. So just have a look at this. This got him into the lead late in the game.
Oh, yeah! Dane Towns. Beautiful.
So what a try that was. And young Dane, he just seems to put himself in the right place at the right time, like all good footy players do. He just chased that ball through, and the Dragons fullback, I spoke to Brent about the kick that he put up because, like I said, I sat behind him during the first grade, and he said the ball just kept going away from the fullback, so the bloke had no chance of catching it. And but Dane, I only had eyes for the ball, came through. So that put them up 18-16. And I thought, oh, beauty, there was hardly any time left. Now, I'm just going to play this passage of footy here, but just watch towards the end. Louis Grosmy, who played really good, captained the team, with only seconds left, after he makes the tackle, he stands to the side and it's an obvious penalty and he gives the Dragons a chance to win the game. And just watch Louis throw his mouth guard when he realises what he's done right at the end. No, not that one. Next one.
He must have kicked it out, but that means there's only 33 seconds left. I think that's going to do it. Unless they can pack the scrum. Or turnover. He probably should have just dived on it, Milo, instead of kicking it out. But anyway, he'll get 1 or 2 sets. That's it. Last one. Look out.
That's it. 12 seconds.
Oh, he's got a penalty. Oh, no. For the draw. The kick.
That'll be coming close.
So poor old Louis chucks the mouth guard away. And so the Dragons had a kick to level the scores with time run out. And I'm just going to show you this. So the Dragons kicker was the halfback. His name's Ashton Ward. And just watch for a young fella called Toby Sullivan, who was one of the best players on the field. He's in the right place at the right time too. Like I said, like good players do. So there it was. The kick hit the upright. It was a long way out. It was like nearly 40 metres, 38 metres out. But it's just lucky for Louis because, he would have felt terrible that he stood to the side. Well, I mean, the Dragons 5'8" I just saw there sort of moved off the mark a little bit. But, with a second left, Louis gives away a penalty. And luck it didn't cost him. And Toby Sullivan went up and caught the ball and the team come around. So we had a bit of joy out there. It wasn't all doom and gloom. We've got a few more comments coming through. And here's one from Chip98 on YouTube. He said, "It's okay, bro. I'm a Dragons fan. Rabbits will come back eventually. I've been a Dragons fan my whole life. And the Dragons have been struggling for 11 years. So, yeah, we've had a pretty good run, haven't we, really, I suppose. And at the moment, it's a real dip. But, yeah. And here's a comment from Aussie. He says, Cody at 7, Jack at 6. He got asked about that in the presser. Will Jack come in? And he goes, look, we'll have a look at it. So he's not committing to that. And I don't know. Then we've got to put someone in the centre for Jack, and it's a whole remix for that. So, yeah. And Ned Kelly said a couple of promising front rows in Flegg over. Yes, so there's a couple of big units in there. Like I said, Toby and Louis and a couple of others played well. And, yeah, there's a bit of talent in that side. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do next week. Now, next week, they are playing a makeup game, a washout game that was originally in round 5 against the Warriors. So it's going to be at Marcelin Fields next Saturday in Efron Park. And I might try and stream that one because there's a good place to film from up there in the amenities block there, the big building there. So I might try and do that. So that hasn't even been advertised anywhere yet. So it's a exclusive to Bunnies TV. Flegg are playing the Warriors next Saturday. It is a bye round, but they're going to make up that game doing that. And another shout out here, just another young fella that I spoke to is Tyrese Alfie Dungay. And he's sitting there with his mate, Navrin Willett, who also plays for the Tigers. Now, Alfie hopes to be back on the paddock next week. And be good to see him get back out there with the Flegg boys because he's a talented young footy player. And also, like I said, I was sitting behind Matt Humphries, who's also been out. He told me he's only a couple of weeks away. So they're getting some troops back. And they're, that's a good story. They're a good young bunch of blokes. Coach Tippy and the Bear, they're doing a good job with that squad. And, they got a bit of joy out of the day yesterday, which was good. And yeah, well, Tips said a comment that we'd all love to see. What grand finals would you love to see? Rabbitohs v Roosters or Dragons v Bulldogs? Well, I'd like to see Rabbitohs and Roosters, that's for sure. And probably Rabbitohs and Dragons too. Like I said, it's or they'd be two blockbuster grand finals. Gano official said, how'd Dion go? I spoke about him earlier in the show, mate. He went okay. He had limited opportunities and he didn't really assert his authority on the game. Like I said, but it is hard in your debut and it's miserable conditions. And the Dragons were playing quite well. They're a big mobile side and limited his opportunities. He had a couple of good runs. I thought he was going to score once or twice. And that's what he can do. He can break the line. But like I said, it just wasn't his day, unfortunately. So like I said, next week the Flegg will be playing the Warriors. Just to move on to a couple of other things here. I did actually go out and speak to my mate Mark Emery, the collector. Now, he lives out in the Southern Highlands and I'm on annual leave at the moment, so it was a little bit of a holiday for me and I had a bit of a film of a few things. This is Fitzroy Falls and Bowral. So I flew a bit of the drone there over Bowral and, this time of year, the trees are all changing colours and all that. So it's beautiful up the Southern Highlands. And I'd never seen Fitzroy Falls before. And it's an awesome sight to see. It might not do it justice what you saw there on the video, but anyway. And so, yeah, Mark Emery, the collector, he writes stories for bunniestv.au. And he's got this amazing collection that he's been putting together for 50 plus years. I'm just going to show you a little bit of it because it was a funny part at the start when he pulled out his footy cards. And I didn't know he was going to do this, but he pulled out my footy card and got me to sign it. And but just showing you a couple of pieces of his collection. And this complete interview is up on Bunnies TV if you want to see it.
I start off with a laugh, of course, because we have, naturally, someone who's a very important person in the
Steve
South Sydney
Maven.
history.
Okay.
So, you've probably heard of that person.
I've heard of that
before,
bloke, yeah. So you want me to sign that for you?
Yeah.
All
Here
right,
we go.
let's
There
do
we
that.
go.
Okay.
So I can actually say he came to my place, and I can actually say there's a signature.
There
and
it
I
is.
actually now have a Steve Maven.
You got a signed Steve Maven card.
Signed footy card. I'll put that away.
Well, thank you. The O'Connor brothers, they're just two legends of the club. They said that. I remember Lurch talking about it.
That fantastic thing that had all the articles and so on there.
Yeah, so he's a really good bloke, Mark, and thanks for letting me come into your home and have a look at your stuff. We could have spent weeks there looking at everything he's got, but there was some good stuff there, especially that photo of Sattler that I haven't seen anywhere else with the jaw broken and all that. So he's got some really good stuff there. And I know Karina Haza watched that and she liked it too. So we've got a few more comments coming through about who you love to hate. And so Chip 98 said, what team do you hate? It has to be the Roosters. So yeah, a lot of South fans. We're not big fans of the Roosters. Yeah. It is a healthy rivalry. And Aussie said here, and Aussie said he hates the Roosters and the Dragons, so that's fair enough. And he also said he'd like Ben to take over full time, or even Dave Furner, but Bennett will come back. So it looks like Bennett will be coming back. Looks like it's a done deal, and the Dolphins are playing well, aren't they? So his price has probably gone up. Look at that side; it's just a side that's performing well. And also, what about the Sharkies? They're everything that we're not at the moment, aren't they? You know, like Sifa Talakai off the bench, and they just work hard. And former Rabbitoh botany boy Cam McGuinness just working, and they've got some talent out wide. Mulatalo, when he burst through and he put a move on and he picked up Sifa and they beat the Storm down there in Melbourne, something we can't do. Unfortunate. And I just had a photo here that I was going to show before when I was talking about Latrell. And he got a photo with a young fella called Jared at the captain's run, and he had a Trell Mitt shirt on. So I just thought that was a lovely photo. And so he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, does Trell, for the fans. And we just got to be better for the run next week. Let's hope that we can get another win and start getting a few going, getting a few under our belt, and turn this season around. That's all we can hope for. Now, it is Sunday, and like I said, Mother's Day, so make sure you spoil your mum. If you haven't done so already, go and get some flowers. I know there's selling flowers outside the Bonnie Doon golf course where you can drive through there at Pagewood, and every servo will have them. Get some flowers for your mum if you haven't. Get her some chocolates. Go and give her a kiss and a hug, because my mum's not here anymore. So, I'd be doing the same if she was here. And, so make sure you spoil your mum. You only get one of them. And after that, there's a fight on, and it's a big fight. So we'll leave you with this. It's Aussie George Kambosos has taken on Vasily Lomachenko for the vacant IBF lightweight title in RAC Arena in Perth this Savo. The 30-year-old Aussie champ George takes on two-time Olympic gold medalist, that's him on the right, the 36-year-old Lomachenko. He's won gold medals in Beijing and London and has held multiple world titles. So Lomachenko is a $1.14 favourite against our long shot George, who's a massive underdog. But George comes from a land down under. So don't we love an Aussie underdog? So hopefully he can win, make it a good fight. Some of you will be getting that on at home or going down the pub. Maybe take mum down. She might want to see you. Probably not, but, take her down there, buy her some lunch, a few drinks, and then you can watch the fights after that. Thanks for everyone for joining me here on Bunnies TV. And before I leave you, I don't want to forget the sponsors. We are brought to you by the Juniors group of clubs, and you can see it there on the screen and on the new banner. I've got the new banner here. You're watching this on our George's camera, our Canon camcorder. And our new sponsor is SEQ IT Services. Go to seqit.com.au and he'll sort you out for all your IT needs. Everyone needs something to do with the internet, whether it's home security, like helping you beat scammers, awareness, firewalls, technical advice. Speak to Michael at SEQ IT. He's our man. And I always like to leave us with a good comment. And there's none better than this one here from Carlix. SSTID. South Sydney till I die. Up the mighty Rabbitohs. We are still the pride of the league. 21 premierships. Daylight second. Number 22 looks a distant looks far away at the moment, but we'll get there. We'll be back. We'll be right. And we'll be back where we belong, winning games. See you later.